mostly what I do is I find really good things and I make fun of them and find the negative. But I would like to flip that for just a second. See if we can't find some positive in some negative situations. I call it finding the upside and down. The thing they keep telling us is don't panic. You know, don't panic. This is not the time to panic. Really? I think this is a fantastic time. If we're not going to panic now, when are we going to panic, people? Let's go. The way we deal with setbacks and obstacles, I think that to a great degree determines how much success we're going to achieve. And I got to tell you, in that battle to maintain momentum, I think having a sense of humor is the strongest weapon you can take to that fight. Yeah. Sense of humor does two things for us. Number one, it makes life more fun. Is there anything more fun to have than fun? And secondly, it puts things in perspective. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I bet if you went out on the street and asked 100 people what the opposite of success is, 100 people are going to say the opposite of success is failure. I don't think that's right. Because I bet you know a bunch of successful people who have failed a ton. They just didn't stay there. I think the opposite of success is doing nothing. I think sitting on the couch is the opposite of success. I think failure is just an integral part of the process. I had a chance 3 years ago. I was working in Las Vegas. I was a showgirl. I'm kidding. I was a stripper. The point is this. I happened to be in Las Vegas at the same time, speaking at the same time that the Consumer Electronics Show was going on. I don't know if we have any gadget people in the room, but this is like porn for geeks. And this was about 3 years ago, this was the year that Apple announced that they were coming out with the iPhone. And I don't know how many people in the room have an iPhone. This is probably my best tech purchase in the last 3, and I was smart. I was one of the smart ones. I got there the first day because I wanted to make sure I got it, before they could lower the price. Fabulous product, 3rd generation they're on now. And this came on the heels of them having the iPod. I don't know, how many people don't have an iPod? Most of them. I didn't even know I owned 4,000 songs till I got an iPod. The last numbers I can get, they've made over $3 billion net profit on the iPod. Billion. Now here's the question. Before the iPhone, before the iPod, do you remember what Apple's big consumer product release was? The Newton. Yeah, how many people have a Newton? Nobody has a Newton. No, I guarantee the president of Apple doesn't have a Newton. Only an idiot would have a Newton. Millions of dollars research and development, millions of dollars in production, promotion, shipping. They sold 4 of these. They got the other 3 at home. Is this a failed product? Oh, yeah. Is Apple a failed company? No, because they understood one simple fact, and that is this. In order to get to the iPhone, in order to get to the iPod, you're occasionally going to step in a whole pile of Newtons. Which brings us to you guys. I mean, we're in a world of Newtons right now, let's be honest. This is... But the thing is, when things are this catastrophically bad, I think there also is some commensurate opportunity. And mostly what I do is I find really good things and I make fun of them and find the negative. But I would like to flip that for just a second. See if we can't find some positive in some negative situations. I call it finding the upside and down. Because I think there is a tremendous upside. When they say there's a global economic crisis, what they're really saying is that there's a whole bunch of people hurting. That's what, and understand this. When we get it down to the level of people, people are just people. People are just people. I mean, the Stanford Business School did a research study. They found that 99.7% of all people, just people. That's what they found. Yeah. Yeah. The other 3%, lawyers. My point is this. People are just people. That's what I'm saying. And as unique and individual as we are, we also have some commonalities that are really important. And one of those is this. People are change-resistant little beings. We don't like change. We avoid change. We run away from change. We put off change with one exception. When the pain of staying where we are gets greater than the fear of change, then we're ready to move. We go from avoiding change to seeking it. And that's where we are right now. That's where your clients are right now. They're looking for change. They're looking for answers. They're open to change. And that's exciting because in a world asking for help, I'm looking at a room full of solutions. We just have to get our eyes off our own change just long enough to realize we can be of service. And the pain for ourselves can be good. I mean, this is a fantastic time to refocus and reposition and sometimes just remember what it is we really do and why we do it. And when we look at that why and that what we do, sometimes it changes the how. And that can be somebody else's answer. And the change can happen like that. Like that. Who knows who Susan Boyle is? Susan Boyle, 47 years old, never been married, never been kissed. Never been kissed. 47. Do you know what an achievement that is? I mean, I don't want to brag, but I've been kissed. I mean, like 3 times. A couple lawsuits. The point. This woman went on that British television show, and she went from unknown to on every television show over 100 million hits instantly. And when something like that happens, I'm fascinated by it. I look at that and I say, how does that occur? And I came up with 2 things, and I think they're important to understand. And neither one of them have anything to do with her being able to sing, by the way. I mean, she has to be able to sing for the story to happen, but there's great singers. There's great singers in this room. They just don't generate 100 million hits. How does that happen? 2 things. First thing I think is this. I think we respect her courage. Can you imagine her standing in the wings? You saw what the audience reaction was. She knew that. She's had 47 years of training to know how people react to her. She knows there's going to be a murmur go through the crowd, that people are going to look at each other and roll their eyes and go, here we go. Here's our next victim. Come out for your humiliation. And in spite of that, she walks that 25, 30 steps to the middle of that stage, looks into that spotlight, and smiles. How brave is that? I've been walking on stages for 23 years. I'm not sure I could do that. We respect her bravery. And the second thing is, I think we identify with her. Because I think all of us, I know it's true for me, and I don't think you'd be sitting in this room if it weren't true for you. I think we all believe that deep inside us we have skills and talents and gifts and abilities that if we ever fully shared with the world, it would change our lives. She said she did it because she made a promise to her mom. My question is, what are we waiting for? What kind of promise is it going to take for you? And my prayer for you is that before you leave here, you make that promise. And you're not going to do it next year, not next month, not next week. You're going to do it before you leave. Make that promise to share what you have. Because what's the downside? You could fail. Failure's overrated. Let me leave you with one last thought, and this is to put perspective on failure. The man who understood the significance, the relationship between failure and success better than any other American, I think Thomas Edison, failed 1,000 times inventing the light bulb, but did he see it that way? No. No, in his diary he wrote, I've not failed 1,000 times, I have successfully discovered 1,000 things that do not work. Yeah, we think that's what he wrote. He was writing in the dark. Well, thank you so much.